200,000 people. Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome on back to Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. I do hope you're doing well. I really do hope that. And welcome back. Welcome back to the channel, to Chelsea News, where I upload every day. And yeah, look, we're out all the spiel. I do want to start the video by saying thank you to everyone who's become part of the Football Therapy community and has subscribed. Of course, as of yesterday, I hit 200,000 subscribers. And it's just wicked, man. Look, subscribers on YouTube is, for those of you who don't know, is very much a vanity metric. It's a good way of measuring how far you've come because it's the amount of people that have decided to subscribe to your channel, which is awesome, man. Like, it's nothing short of wicked, like, and I'm very, very grateful. It doesn't have, you know, I'll let you in behind the curtain here. It doesn't affect how much money you earn or anything like that. It doesn't even affect, I don't think, how you stand in the YouTube algorithm. Like, it's like, oh, this channel's got more subscribers, I'll recommend it more to additional viewers. It doesn't work like that. You'll have certain YouTube channels with an incredible amount of subscribers that are very inactive, that if they had uploaded a video, it might not get any views. It's got nothing to say. And you get very small channels, similarly, that perhaps don't have a call to action, that don't say, subscribe, guys, and they might get huge views because the algorithm sees their content in such a way where it wants to promote it, but they're not interested in saying, oh, subscribe, because it doesn't necessarily mean anything anymore. So just for context, you know, for those of you, you know, why would you know the details if you don't work on YouTube or have a channel or whatever? It does mean a lot to me. It means a lot to me because it's individuals, viewers that have decided they want to come back, or, you know, they want to show their way of support by subscribing. And yeah, we've hit 200k. Forgive me, we were going to get into Chelsea stuff in just a moment. Reece James, Guiu, Delap, title charges, maybe even a bit of Real Madrid apparently regretting not signing Steval. We're going to get into that in a moment, but I had to start by referencing the fact how I've reached this milestone. And I do think we've reached this milestone because it is a community here on the channel. It's an incredible one. I started YouTube over 6 years ago. Interestingly, it's similarly the same time as George Benson started his football channel. I remember we both started a Chelsea channel at the same time. Of course, George has presence on YouTube before that, and great experience. And, you know, we DM'd and went to a couple of games or whatever. Yeah, I did really well over lockdown, you know, in 2020. And that sort of fluctuated in views since then. But even, like, you know, as the views have gone up and down and up, people tend to watch more on news cycles rather than my match reactions, which is fine. You know, you sort of learn what people want from you. It's just been an incredible journey, and it's been amazing, really. And I do see it as an achievement, the 200k. I'd love to keep, you know, developing this following, and in what I genuinely think is an awesome part of the, you know, football. I say Chelsea, but footballing community. I like to think I'm not like a sensational content creator, that I don't come out with sweeping statements. I'd like to think that I stand, like, true and consistent with my opinions. You know, long before the Abramovich got sanctioned and the club got sold, my opinions have stayed the same of how I think football clubs, I want my football club to be run. You know, my opinion on all elements of the game, whether it be like state ownership or sports washing, or how players are looked after, how much they get paid. I'd like to think I had my ideas and I've stayed consistent, and I'm pleased with that. And maybe to a point where it's damaged me in terms of views or subscribers and stuff throughout the years, but I'd like to be authentic. I guess also I want to be, like, serious in the serious matters, but a bit happy-go-lucky, a bit silly, joke around. And yeah, as Arrigo Sacchi said once, football is the most important thing of the non-important things, or something like that. So yeah, a bit of both, taking it seriously but also having fun. Anyway, I guess this monologue is finished. Thank you for 200,000 subscribers. I suppose we keep going. If you do like the content, then you're welcome to jump aboard. Please do consider liking, subscribing, commenting, sharing, and all that other good gear, mate. Thank you so much. Football Therapy is over 200,000 subscribers. Chicken Oriental. Let's keep going. Right, let's get into it. A little update on Reece James, who of course came off in the 45th minute yesterday in our 2-0 win over Burnley. The Chelsea manager, Enzo Maresca, confirmed that that was planned, that is the only reason why he played 45 minutes. We all assumed this. We saw Reece in the second half come out with his big jacket on, laughing and smiling. So we all thought, right, well, it doesn't look like he's injured because he'd be miserable and serious then. And I must say, I wanted to start on this because it's really, really good, the way he's being handled. Even in a game that you haven't 100% locked down and won, you stick to your guns, you stick to the plan. No, Reece gets 45 minutes here to keep him, warm, to keep him fresh for the big games up and coming, Arsenal and Barcelona. And we don't take any risks. His rehabilitation at Chelsea by the medical department and whatever, the structure at Chelsea does need applauding because, again, talking about my history here on YouTube, over recent years, we were speaking of, Reece James is done. Is he done? Huge concerns. Reports suggesting that he needed to move over to Spain or Portugal to play football there in different climates to look after his hamstrings. Reports like that. And no, he is back and consistent. We're hoping Fofana, Lavia can do the same. Of course, Cole was a bit different. He's done his ACL. But, again, I've been reiterating the fact I must applaud and, be thankful for the way our captain, Reece James, and absolute superstar, has been dealt with, looked after, and rehabilitated. And I guess it will come down to also taking him off at halftime when you haven't, got this really important win over the line at Burnley. No, they're protecting him, and it's good news for Chelsea regarding Reece James. Right, next up, let's talk about a sort of minor culture war that's developing underneath the surface at Chelsea. Mark Guiu versus Liam Delap. Now, of course, Mark Guiu came on yesterday, made a huge impression, looked really, really good, created the Enzo Fernandez goal, which sealed the points for Chelsea Football Club. And of course, like he always does, he pressed like a monster in the minutes that were afforded to him. Now, this is really interesting. Of course, it's recency bias, this, that, and the other. But I do get it. And yes, of course, despite Delap being, 4 years older than Mark Guiu, they're still both young. And if one is training better, if one is delivering more on the pitch, then it should be a meritocracy and he should play. Of course, Delap was cheap at £30 million in terms of what he delivered for Ipswich the previous season, but he wasn't £5 million like Mark Guiu, so you wonder if there is a sense of obligation to pay to play Liam Delap. I don't think so much. I don't think that's how Maresca works, even though I do think perhaps the sporting directors are heavily involved in not player selection for games, but you should be using these guys, you shouldn't be using these guys. I mean, the example would be like Raheem Sterling. I will die on this hill. I think if he was available to Maresca, he would have played him in certain games. Not as a starter, but he might have used him in cup games and off the bench and stuff. But because I think the sporting directors in the hierarchy at large are trying to push Sterling out, they've probably vetoed the usage of Raheem Sterling. That's what I assume. I'm not saying that's for sure, that's just my assumption. Now, look, I must say I'm a huge fan of Liam Delap, and I do maintain my position that I do think he will be the long-term heir to Harry Kane, as England's striker. Look, I'd love for that to be Shim Moeka. That would be amazing because I know Shim's only 17, but say Harry Kane plays for another 2 years till he's 35 as the starting striker, and then because he might go Benzema, Lewandowski longevity as a centre forward, but eventually he'll have to stop being England's starting striker. Shim will be 19 by then, who knows? The way he's scoring goals at youth level is absolutely incredible, and I'd love that because he's a Chelsea boy, academy, etc. But I do think at the moment Liam Delap's an obvious choice. And I know he's frustrating Chelsea fans lately, but you see in moments where he does these amazing little turns, these turns and finishes at first time, and how he can occupy defenders and how he can run the channels. And I've seen it for Ipswich. I even seen it in glimpses for Chelsea. I see, right, that's what we need. He does feel a bit different. Guiu seems a little bit more like bull in a china shop. Do you know what I mean? Running around pressing like a maniac. I think, again, if you haven't watched my match reaction from yesterday's game, go check it out because I speak about, Chelsea, Burnley 0, Chelsea 2 in detail. And I don't feel like perhaps the match reactions get enough views because people don't want to hear me talk about the games as much, which is, They want to hear me deliver the news, but perhaps not speak about the games. But I love talking about the football itself. So if you want to check it out, do go see it. I think Delap needs a goal. He needs his first Chelsea goal that's not on the Club World Cup. Do you know what I mean? He needs his Premier League goal, basically. And then it was because there's a couple of times you think that's poor decision making. That's poor decision making. And you see Mark Guiu, that final action when he assists Enzo Fernandez, that's perfect decision making. So, you know, that's not a good look for Delap. And Delap's not been having good looks recently. That red card was the 2 yellows in 7 minutes coming off the bench was a disgrace. I mean, we've apparently all moved on and he's apologised, fine. And yeah, great, I want to move on from it. But that was a bad look, of course, we can all agree. And then, of course, he's having these moments where I don't think he performed badly against Burnley. Like, he had these good moments, but there was a couple of high-profile, poor decisions. And then Guiu comes on, presses like a monster, and then does that excellent assist for Enzo Fernandez. And it's a great look for Mark Guiu. So, look, I'm delighted for Mark Guiu because he'll get more chances. I had said recently, I don't necessarily think he's got... like a future at Chelsea, which sounds awful. I'm not against it, but I have a feeling that because Shim is a couple of years younger, looks really, really good. Because, again, it's distasteful, it's unsavoury, it's cynical. But Mark Guiu cost Chelsea £5 million, and I think they can sell him for 5 times that immediately 25 million, probably 30 million by the time he's 20, and they'll say, wow, what an amazing piece of business we've achieved there. But I've got absolutely nothing against Mark Guiu becoming undeniable in terms of selection, and therefore, he becomes untenable to sell, because no matter how you view this current structure and ownership, there will be players that this Chelsea deem too good to sell, whether that's Cole Palmer, Moises Caicedo, Levi Colwill, probably Estevao, others sort of percolating under Reece James. Do you know what I mean? There will be players that go, right, well, if you're just doing too much for us, we can't sell you. I don't know if Mark Guiu will get there, and I think because of his age profile, because we've got Shim, because we've got Datsun coming as well, who's 17, they're both 17. I wonder if Guiu will just represent this excellent sellable asset, basically, that they 5 or 6 times their money on. We'll see what happens. I think Delap, the long term, I understand why Chelsea fans are calling for Guiu over Delap. Remember, Delap has scored a lot of goals, 12 Premier League goals last season. I think 10 non-penalty goals and if you look at the amount of chances he gets per goal, so it was a really good return, basically. And you thought, well, if you extrapolate that to Chelsea and Chelsea chances, he'll get 20 non-penalty goals. Obviously, it's all theory or whatever. Also, you need to remember as well that Maresca really loves Liam Delap. He played for him at his under-23 side. He scored over a goal a game at that level. I know that's not Premier League level at all, but Maresca's seen what he's seen Lave, he's seen Cole Palmer, he's seen Delap at under-23s in Man City. He knows what they're all about. He believes in Delap, and I do too. There's a reason why Newcastle, Man United, Bayern Munich, and everyone trying to trigger the clause, but he chose to come to Chelsea. It was only really Chelsea who came for Mark Guiu, who, of course, Barca were trying to extend him on a new deal where he didn't have a £5 million release clause, but he said, no, I'm going to go to Chelsea because they'll give me decent money, and I believe in the project or whatever. And I don't think he regrets it. He's had a nice time, Guiu. Obviously, he had the weird moment with Sunderland, going on like a few weeks loan there. But, he won the Club World Cup. He seems to be settling in London. I think he doesn't regret the move to Chelsea. But I totally understand the culture war between Guiu versus Delap. Yeah. Very interesting. Let me know your thoughts. Let's move on. Let's talk about this title challenge business. Right, I'm recording this before the North London derby later this afternoon. It's still morning here in the UK. Of course, if Arsenal slap up Tottenham, everyone will be thinking, oh God, Arsenal are just going to win the Premier League, aren't they? It does feel like they're heavy favourites. Let me quickly see how much they're favourites on a odds checker website. Oh my God, I'm looking at it now. Arsenal are heavy favourites, odds on. And then, Man City is still second favourites. I'm seeing some people still give Liverpool third favourites. What? Over Chelsea? That's mental. It's going both ways. Some bookmakers are saying Chelsea. Some of them are saying Liverpool third favourites. How Liverpool are still considered third favourites is mental. But I suppose after that, who are you looking at? Man United, Villa, Palace, Tottenham. It's really interesting, actually. it is Man City or Chelsea, really, who have to stop Arsenal, which feels like a lot of responsibilities to stop the world from ending. In Arsenal winning a Premier League the first time in over 2 decades. It feels like a lot of responsibility. Yeah. Man City, I feel like they're way too reliant on Erling Haaland. It'll be interesting. Look, if Arsenal get slapped at home by Tottenham, which I don't think is going to happen. I know Gabriel's out and, you know, anything can happen or whatever. But it'll be very interesting to see if Arsenal convincingly beat Tottenham, without Gabriel and a couple of other absentees. I have the fear that Arsenal would just relatively easily win the Premier League. And look, it's going to make me feel sick to say it. They deserve it. They've been building up to it. But can Chelsea do it? Well, maybe. Chelsea's form, if you look at Chelsea's form over the last 6 months, the games we've lost, why we've lost them. There'll be silly moments, yeah. There'll be the Sanchez red card at Old Trafford. There'd be like the Nico Jackson red cards, you know, the end of last season in the Club World Cup. There's the Sunderland game, which is a weird one, but Sunderland are good. And it was a last minute, and, you know, I think the underlying numbers weren't bad from Chelsea. And then, of course, there's this huge caveat of, Chelsea are the youngest team in the Premier League. You can't win anything with kids, someone once said, famously. Yeah, man. So, I don't know. I still don't think this Chelsea team are ready. I feel like the next season would be their right. Hopefully, we've won another trophy this season, qualified for the Champions League. Everyone's got a year older. We've got this big body of evidence of data from Maresca's 2 seasons at Chelsea, where you could be like, right, what's the weakness? That. You know, we get that guy now. And now we have to look at ourselves seriously. Am I opposed to Chelsea winning the Premier League this season? Absolutely, of course not. I would love for us to do it. And maybe we can. Maybe do you know what? After this, if Tottenham beat Arsenal, which, again, I don't think was going to happen. I've got to say that. If they do, and we end this game week 3 points off Arsenal, and we play Arsenal on the weekend, you beat Arsenal, and you're level on points with them. That's when the conversation will have to be had. Purely because you're level on points just before Christmas or whatever, in December. In December? Yeah, or the 31st. Yeah, basically, you're going into December, going into the Christmas months, you're level on points at the top of the Premier League. You simply would have to have the conversation on points alone, on loan. But, I mean, like, sort of analytically, philosophically, I sort of analysed this team, and I don't think they're ready for that, personally, but I think Chelsea are trending massively in the right direction, so I'll leave up to you guys to have that discussion for the moment, but I'm going to let that one float. I did want to react to that story about Estevao and Real Madrid, but it came out a few days ago, and look, it's just a sort of entitlement thing. They feel like they should sign all the Brazilian superstars, and he's come to Chelsea. It's a huge win for us for 29 million, but you've probably seen it in the news going around different headlines a few days ago. We will, of course, cover these stories as and when they develop, because it's interesting talking points and headlines. But in the meantime, I'll leave you there, guys. Thank you again so much for helping me, us achieving the milestone of 200k. You are all welcome, of course. So if you're yet to subscribe and you want to, hop aboard. And yeah, enjoy the football, and I'll see you soon, hopefully. Peace.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought. Body bag the verse, outlined in chalk. In my life seen trouble, hustle on the double. Silence on the trigger like my pick got a muzzle. Yo, chick like to guzzle, bad boy stay in trouble. I only love this paper, sorry I don't. I laugh me, baby.